How you guys doing? We're not going to start yet. We're going to get going here pretty soon. You enjoying the conference so far? Yeah. Who's excited for all the things Power BI? Yeah.
How does this compare to the one back to the mothership in Seattle? Pretty smaller?
This has been bigger. Every year they've been growing the conference in size. So I've been to every conference. I've spoken to everyone except the first one because I didn't have a clue what was going on. And it started out as the Data Insights Summit originally, and it was geared more towards the Excel and Power BI group, first 2 years. And then the last 2 years have been added with Dynamics, so that's the previous year and then this year.
Is this like the same as the summit and you got some over there in Seattle?
With like Dynamics content. So there's a lot of similar things. Power Apps and Flow really weren't a thing back in the day when it started. Has anyone been to all the conferences? All 4? Nice.
I have.
You don't count.
Oh. You tripped.
One more minute.
Mike's trying to make me trip behind here.
I know, I got the bags hidden
That would've been
everywhere.
good.
Anybody using data flows by chance? Just curious. Couple people? What do you guys think? If you're using data flows, you like it? Is it cool? Just starting, so you don't really know yet? I'm excited. So I think of the conference pieces, I think the one I'm most excited is for the data flows piece. Being able to play well with the IT organization and add AI directly in line as you're bringing data into the lake. So it seems pretty interesting. We'll see where it goes. We're at 2:15, right? Want to kick us off?
Correctamundo, sir.
We're hoping there's an influx, because we're right during the time of Power Hour.
This is what happens when the Power Hour
Gets
rolls
scheduled.
onto your time frame. So we'll see if there's any left over.
We're hoping like around like 2:25, when they have like, we're out of room, no one can come in. Please go to the other session, that would be good. And maybe they'll come in here a little bit later, so.
But we
Thank you
for choosing us
over
first
Power
as
Hour.
your final session of the summit. It's Power BI, not PowerPoint.
You can't PowerPoint it. It's definitely Power BI.
Who are you?
My name's Mike Carlo, and I'm the creator of PowerBI.tips, and I work on this website with my partner, Seth Bauer.
That's all you're going to tell the people about
We'll
yourself?
keep going all the way in?
Yeah,
All
I
right,
want you to
so
tell all.
I'll give you a bit of my background. So my background is mechanical engineering. That was my degree back in college. Did a bunch of engineering work for a Fortune 100 company. Just the Excel guy, getting a lot of data off machines. Data has always kind of been my thing. I like numbers and math. That's my area. Went on to pursue to get my MBA, and then now I'm currently working on my master's in data science. So I'm a super nerd when it comes to data-y things. My story about working with Power BI kind of started with Excel. That was I was the guy who was always causing problems for IT because I was building macros and taking data out of databases. So I really had like a business spin on, how do we get data from raw form into insights? I fell in love with Power Query when I learned about that tool in Excel. It was amazing. The fact that I could automate data movement into my Excel document was huge. So I was a super big fan of that. That's what then brought me into Power View, which was originally inside Excel. And then from there, they migrated the tool out and said, forget that. We're going to build our own tool straight up. It's going to be Power BI Designer. And then within like a couple months, they'd renamed it to Power BI Desktop. So I've been pretty much around since the tool began, and I like it, and it's the improvements. Oh my gosh, if you guys could have seen the early versions of this, they showed a picture of it
if you
at
could only
the
see,
keynote.
it almost looks like it does now.
It's so
With the new
different.
change.
So yeah, there's a lot more functionality now, and I'm super excited for the direction of where the tool's going. That's me in a nutshell.
So the nice thing with really wide rooms like this and 2 people is we can stand on either side of the stage, and I can talk to you, and I can talk to him.
Volley
My
back
name
and
is
forth.
Seth Bauer. During the day, I work for a company called Syndigo. It's a product content management tool that curates and grabs a bunch of data, helps suppliers clean, cleanse, and send their data throughout our syndication network to all of our recipients. And my passion is Power BI and the Power BI community. So when I'm not in my day job, essentially work with Mike, and we curate a lot of content on powerbi.tips to try to help business users get the most out of the tool. I am a community super user, so I answer a lot of questions on the community forums. That's where I kind of got my start in Power BI. Like Mike, I was around from the very beginning and kind of latched onto the community, and that's where a lot of my initial Q&A around the service and all of that type of thing happens. We also co-lead our local community Power BI user group. If you're not familiar, Dynamic Communities is the organization that runs the user groups. You can find Power BI user groups across the globe. We highly recommend that you join your local user groups so that you get the same kind of networking and interactive relationships with people that you find at big conferences, but on a much more regular basis. So we highly recommend doing that as well.
Anybody from the Milwaukee user group? Woo, we got one of them. I knew he was here, so thank you for coming all the way here from Milwaukee. We appreciate it.
So if you like, both Mike and I, 99% of all the tweets we do on Twitter are just kind of sharing Power BI, the latest and greatest of all the blogs and things that we find. So if you want to follow us on there, otherwise our LinkedIn profiles are up there as well. Due to our community service, we're both blessed to have been given the Microsoft MVP Award, which has just opened up even really great relationships with other people that are just as passionate about tools as we are, and gives us opportunities to come and share what we love doing with you. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Passionate, maybe crazy.
Crazy,
Passionate about all of it.
So first off, we're going to talk through some of the best practices or things that we find that you can easily do in your reports to make them more effective with your end users. And then we're going to dive into a little bit more demo and maybe some advanced topics. But about 10 years ago, a gentleman by the name of Simon Sinek, you may be familiar with this TED Talk, which he gave, where he was kind of talking about businesses and how they marketed their products to people, and came up with this golden circle theory. Recently, I had seen somebody talking about it again, and there were a lot of correlations that all of a sudden I started to tie together with how we approach kind of report building, right? Report authors and what people are requesting from us and what we give back. So on the outside of these circles, you know, there's the what. What are they asking for? Right underneath that, how? It's the development. It's, you know, you're taking the requirements, you're connecting to those data sources, munging the data and giving it back to them in the requested form. But how often are we talking about the why? What is the why? The why is, why are they asking what they are? Why do they want to see that data? What are they doing with it that's changing or helping them shape decisions that they're making within their business? So what ultimately is happening in a lot of the cases is we get a, give me this report. This can come from the end user themselves, but more often than not, depending on who's building the report, it's through the program or the project manager, a couple filters, and you get this set of requirements that land on your desk. And what do? You automatically start looking at the requirements, figuring out how you develop against that, and then you return that, whether it's reporting services or Power BI or some other tool. Why you'd use some other tool, even, I don't
even know why you'd use another tool.
But ultimately, what I would suggest is we kind of take a step back and reevaluate how we are consuming those requirements, and to start with the why. The why is a series of questions that I want to talk to the end user about. I want to know why they want to see this data. What are they trying to answer? And that's what I want to solve with my reports. I mean, there's a grand spectrum of things, right? Like if it's an analyst, their why might be a part of the organization. If it's an executive, they want to see particular KPIs or numbers that they can just at a glance figure out what their decision is going to be. But it's our job to figure out the why rather than just blindly fill out requirements or reports. Because a lot of time is wasted in between these steps, And really, we're missing out on the real reason we're building reports all the time, which is to solve those business problems. So I would say, if you don't understand the questions that they're trying to answer, start there. A great use case or example of this is something that I just joined this company not long ago, and I got this requirements list. And it was something in my years that I'd learned that I didn't want to just spit out a spreadsheet, especially not out of Power BI. So I got in front of the end user and started to listen through conversation of like, what were the things that she was trying to solve. And within this conversation, there's peppered little things of, I'm getting downward pressure from the organization. I'm feeling like I can't, I don't know about this particular thing. When I use the product, this is my struggle. And in between there was, that's why I need to see this, 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 and this, and then if you give me this, I can add that. And a lot of the people on the call, everybody trying to help, were instantly saying, yes, I can do that, A, B, C, D, E, F. We'll get that right back to you. I sort of derailed everything after the case when right at the end I said, how about we have a separate call and we address these problems, right? What that allows you to do is figure out what the core of what they need is, and then you can shape the right report for them. So it's a great starting point for driving towards the best report that we can pull forward.
So I'm going to actually jump in there too. I have another good example. So again, thinking through, like, if you think about your normal workflow, how many people here would say they're kind of from the business side of things? I run the business. I'm in the, okay. You guys are my Excel lovers, right? You love Excel? Okay, good. So in my world, in the business side, I mean, we all deal with it, right? How often is a user asking for a report from the IT group and then just show me where the export to Excel button is? So you go into the report, I'm getting all this data together, and then whatever charting may be there, it's usually a table at some form, and then they export to Excel, and then I have a series of workflows where I take all this data out, I've made a little mini data mart, I'm going to copy it, paste it, put it in something else, add more data to it, smush it all together, and then out puts my answer. So a lot of times, asking the why question gets you into, what are the actions I need to make from the data? That's different than I need the table of these columns, right? What am I actionably looking for? And these are questions that you want to ask is, what action do you want to take to deliver something? And those are the points where you can listen in, and they'll say, well, I need to know what my total sales is. Because when we're declining, I need to turn it around. I need to make a decision to spend more in marketing. I need a decision point to say when I'm going to add more promotions. So if we talk in those kind of terms and ask, what is the action I want to drive with this report? We can start walking people away a bit more from the tables of data that I'm continually exporting and constantly churning, and providing visuals that provide impact.
So dialing it back into real visualization, right? So when preparing for this session, I was wondering whether I say this is just a really gross example of what you do and don't do, but I couldn't, because every time I interact with like a really heavy IT person, and it's usually like in networking or the hardware, I always see a pie chart, and I like to watch how I describe this is I like to watch how many desserts I consume, so I don't really use pie charts or donut charts. That's a nice way of saying I think I don't like them. But realistically here, if I want to look at a count of something, there's two ways in which you can do that. One is a really challenging way from a visual standpoint, or a really simple way. So one of the things we always challenge or recommend is, even in the default settings of the visualizations that you create within Power BI, more often than not, there are a lot of things on that visual that you really don't need. So in this case, do I need an x-axis? No, it's actually easier for me to click and put on a data label instead of that x-axis. I can simplify things the more complex those visuals get. And because I have interaction between multiple different visuals on a page, sometimes I can play off other visuals to give me the information I need. Because our goal here is to be as clear as possible with the end user and help them consume things as efficiently as possible as well. Now, there's a ton of theory behind this, Gestalt principles and color theory, grouping, things like that are all behind reasons why we're recommending doing types of things like this. But ultimately, we are visual learners. So we as report creators, the more simplified we can convey a message, the faster people can consume our report, as opposed to if I have challenging visuals or I'm not as clear in my message, what ends up happening is people have to think more about what they're looking at before they can come to the choice that they need within your report. So if I'm minimizing the amount of time it takes for somebody to digest that information, I'm being more effective in my report authoring. Another example of this is something we see actually quite a bit. So if I can kind of focus your attention on the top two visuals, those are going to be paired together, and then the bottom two visuals. So in the top two visuals, you'll see that it's basically just a count of region by region. I'm using the default titles. I didn't do anything to change those. And as I would interact with the report, I might want to click on my south region, the other table filters. I'll click on my northwest east region, my midwest region, and my west region, right? Does anybody recognize kind of what's happening? The legends are different.
Colors are wrong. Yeah, that's what he said.
So this is an oversimplified way, but so often we encounter reports where there's 4, 5, 6 different visuals on a page, and every single one of them has a different legend, but the same colors. That is really difficult to understand from an end user perspective, and it makes me really think about what is happening within not just the bars or pie graphs or whatever. I now have to figure out which legend I'm looking at. Does that correlate with a different legend? What are the, and you can see where this starts to spiral out of control. So one of the things when you're using different visualizations and legends is to simplify or keep that consistent in terms of color across those visualizations. So in the bottom or lower end area, one of the things we love doing is rather than having a filter or a slicer, what we do is, or legend, is we take that and we use a stacked column chart. And we use the region as the value as well as, the axis, as well as the legend. And then we have something like this where my south region, I have the count of it. And whenever I click that, that's my legend that will impact all the visuals within the rest of my report page. And now I have consistency in color. It's easy to understand the different aspects of all the other different visualizations as I'm clicking through here and creating that consistent experience on the report page. Make sense?
This is a minute detail, but if you think about it, it's a big impact to your end users.
Another one here is space. So much in like the previous visual, the top one is an example, the bottom one is the example of the right way. But even holistically, as we look at this report page, it becomes very apparent very quickly where your eyes go in what's wrong because something doesn't align. Once again, I'd love to say that this is just an anomaly, but we see so many different reports where, one, people want that added little snap of pizzazz, so they add a border that's black line around everything. But that also just enhances the inaccuracy, right? If you don't have the report visuals perfectly aligned in the way that doesn't distract you from what the rest of the report is trying to do, which is convey the information. Now, the nice thing in Power BI is, we have a ton of ability to modify and change these things right away. So, under formatting, obviously, we can align to the top and distribute horizontally. To make that a really easy experience. Now with the new grid lines, there's less of a reason for these kind of anomalies to happen within your report. So with the new grid lines, just like PowerPoint, those show up as red lines, and they kind of snap all of your objects together. Not quite like the grid experience that you can enable behind the scenes, but just little nudges to make all of your visuals the right size or aligned appropriately.
Another tip or trick that we use a lot, because we do a lot of building of these things, is get one. So we have 3 cards in the title of this thing, right? So a lot of times you'll use the same visual multiple times, and particularly in like when we're using a single data point. Try and get one of them done correctly. Like all the things you need shaped the way you want. The colors are right, the background's right, the title's right. Make the one, and then copy it multiple times. Because then you set your properties once, it's a big, big time saver when you're doing that. A lot of times I'll see people put, well, I need 3 cards, and the 3 cards come out, and they spend so much time making sure all the formatting is aligned between all of them. Another tip I'll point out here as well, in the home ribbon on the left-hand side, there's a format painter. You can actually grab a visual, and then select the visual, click the format painter, and then paint that format on other visuals. Also very helpful as well.
So taking a step back to what are some time-saving techniques that we can do visually in our reports to create consistency not just within the report, but in all of our reports. And themes is a fantastic way to do that. Show of hands, how many people use themes on a regular basis?
Yay.
Have used them? Good, good. We'll go through just an example quickly, but for the rest of you, themes are an area up in the top header bar where you can switch a theme, and by default, we'll see a drop-down, and there are about 8 different types of themes that you can automatically apply to your report. So as I click on, say, electric, you'll notice the background header changes and the report on the right-hand side changes. But you'll also notice that the other report right next to it did not change. The reason for that is a little thing to be aware of when you're using themes. If you set custom colors or bring your own hex codes to the Power BI, so if I'm clicking on that particular visual on my format painter and I go to data colors and I click on a particular color, if I select the custom color, I can add in a hex code here. If I do that, I'm disabling this visual from being updated by any external theme. Now the nice thing is, if I stick with the defaults, so in this case, if I just copy this visual and I say, give me the light versions of blue, purple, this pink, and orange, next time I change the theme, those will change along with it. Because essentially what they're doing is they're taking the top level colors that we can import via a theme, and they're just making different gradients of that underneath. So just be aware that if you're bringing, where we see this a lot, where the theme doesn't apply, is I have particular branding, which is also why you're probably creating a theme, that you use those particular hex colors or within your visualizations, and then when you try to apply a theme after the fact, it doesn't work. So to answer the question, right, I have these default themes, but what if they don't use my own branding? We can import our own theme. And let me show you what that looks like. So a theme that we're importing is actually a JSON file. So it's a JavaScript object notation file. So essentially, it's a codey way that's readable, easily readable for us to understand. So without giving way heavy into it, the particular theme that we're looking at is just a list of hex colors and then a background applied. This goes way deep. If you want to build your own themes, there's a great GitHub repository that shows you all of the different properties. There's a schema that Microsoft provides on their technical documentation page that you can get really in the weeds with this and create some really highly customized themes that you can then import. The value there is that you're spending one time to do that exercise, and then you can apply that same thing to all your reports in the same way. So above and beyond colors, themes can impact multiple or almost all of the properties on a visualization, font colors, font sizes, etc., etc. But what if I don't want to create my own theme, but I do want to import my own theme? What do I do? Well, there is one tool that lets you or helps you out with that. You don't have things set up the way I do. So say you have your hex codes, right? So I'm going to bring in the branded hex codes that my marketing department has given me, and I have this list of hex codes that I would love to put into a theme, but I don't want to mess around with a particular JSON file. So what you can do is take these themes and grab them and go to a website called powerbi.tips. Have you seen this website before?
Never seen it before. Looks
so.
pretty good, though.
Under there, you'll see a theme generator. So there's multiple different versions. And in here, you can pick your own colors, but you'll notice that there's a whole slew of different table visualizations that you see in Power BI. And if we expand one of these, you'll see that all the properties that we would see within Power BI are here, and there are drop-downs for the different particular values that can be inserted into those. So to help business users generate their own themes, you can dump in your hex codes here, add those, and we'll see that these are the colors that I want to apply, and then just click download, and a JSON file is just automatically downloaded to your computer.
We got a question.
I'm sorry, you're going really fast. When you drop it on into that wonderful webpage you guys have,
Yeah.
was there sorry, I missed the heading where you dropped it in?
So there's actually a section on the page, so it's going to navigate here. There's this one called Global Data Set Colors. So it's basically, it's trying to, there's actually some global properties we can adjust. So this whole section is just dedicated to coloring the entire report. There's a window at the bottom of the page, add below column selections. And basically, it's a text box. You can dump in your hex codes. It can be hex codes separated by spaces or hex codes separated by commas. And any format you put in there, it will parse out the data for you, make you a nice little list, and then you can actually drag and reorder the colors inside the little drop window. So if you click and drag one of those, it will let you reorder them inside that box. So if you just get the colors in there and that's not the orientation you want them, you can rearrange them there. Great question.
So by clicking download, that creates that JSON file in my downloads folder. I can go back to my Power BI report, click on import theme. If I go to my downloads folder, desktop,
yep.
Power BI.tips color theme, and open that, we'll see that a theme was applied to my report. So it's an easy way for you to get a lot of that value, bring in your own colors that you want to, and that's one of the things that we've done on our site.
Yeah, another question? So the question was, is there any way to tie a particular color to a dimension? There is conditional formatting on a lot of really interesting things in the tool. I'm pretty sure you could write some DAX that would allow you to do that and would be able to peg a particular group. By default, though, the program will always try to apply the colors to the same items across the entire report. So if you have a column named Customer A, everywhere Customer A shows up, that color should be consistent across them everywhere in the report, across all visuals, as long as you're using the same column over again. So you should really be able to set the colors once. And my recommendation there is not really do it based on code, is set the color palette and then reuse the same column of data everywhere else in the report. And if you're using that same column on multiple visuals, the colors will automatically match for you. Yep.
Any other questions? Yeah. If your branding already created a similar PowerPoint file,
Yeah, so this doesn't use anything from PowerPoint. You'll need to get at least their color codes, right? So these are the hex colors that we're using. These are the things we're going to use for certain elements. When you're in the desktop, you can stylize things here. So for example, to fill out your question, if I'm on this page, I click the paint roller. If I need the header bar to be a certain color, you would want to put that color that needs to be headers somewhere in that list of colors and know that the third position is typically my header bar. That's the color we'll use. So in here, if I open up this page background, I can adjust this color to the 5th or the 7th item of color over here, and then that will be my color for the header bars. And so I can set specific positions that become that color. So you kind of have to take their brand guideline and think of how you're going to make a color palette that kind of matches that. Make sense?
Yeah, they're definitely pulling in aspects of PowerPoint and things like that, but there's no cohesion between themes that you can generate there yet. So you'll have to generate and build your own template. Just to dovetail off on that, though, I keep saying template with an assumption that you know what that is. So when you're in Power BI, within the PBIX file, which is the format of that file, you can export a PBIT file, which retains all of the work that you've done within the context of that report without any of the data. So essentially, it's a shell that you could create for like branding. You could create your theme as a branded report file, and that's the base for everybody when they create their reports from then on.
So if you do a save as on your file, save as file type defaults to PBIX. That means it has data in it and all of your other information. If you save it as a PBIT, which is the other dropdown in the Save As dialog box, PBITs, this is the template file. If you save a data, like you have a data model that has data in it in tables, if you're using import mode, it'll bring all that data and store it in compressed form inside the file. Using a PBIT does not do that. It stores no data in the file, and the file usually becomes much more lightweight. And then you actually have the ability of, when you open the file back up, if there's a data attached to it, you'll need to refresh it before the visuals then can display them. But again, you can basically build a PBIT without any data attached to it and do all this styling stuff beforehand, and then you can continually open the PBIT files. Yep?
So when you use PBIT as a template,
Correct.
if I open that up first, okay, now this says my brand.
Yes?
Then when I bring all this other visualization stuff in, then I save it. And it turns
Correct.
out
Yeah, a PBIT, when you open it, you can't resave it as a PBIT. As soon as you open the PBIT file, it starts as a blank file, essentially, and it says untitled at the top. So when you hit save, it'll actually prompt you. It says, hey, this is a brand new file. I need you to put in a name for the file and save it.
So the themes and colors and font sizes, et cetera, that you apply will pertain to new and existing objects within your file.
All right, so we've talked a little bit about color themes. We're going to transition a bit more into, there's a lot of other elements. How many people here have used bookmarks? Cool. Oh, a good number, great. Awesome. How many people are using bookmarks as like navigational elements in the pages? A little bit less, okay, good. How many people are using bookmarks to show and hide things? Even less, okay, good. That's kind of what we expect. There's some techniques you can use with parts of the tool that enhance the reporting experience. So let's just take, for example, this might be just a simple report that we have. I'm going to go back to the default theme, switch over here to default. So what is a layout, right? We've coined this term at Power BI.tips. We build these template files, essentially, and start thinking through what are good color designs? What's good UI, UX design? So this may be a report that you have. I've got some things on the page. The colors seem to match. I'm able to click on different colors and look at data as it translates across the US and see how things are changing. So, okay, good start. But sometimes you'll get a request, and this comes from someone, right? Well, that's okay, it's interesting, but I need it to have a little more pizzazz. I've done a number of projects recently with customers who are giving data from me, the company, to a vendor or a supplier, right? So if you're sharing data between companies using Power BI, sometimes you need a bit more flair in the report, or it needs to be a bit more styled specifically to how you want your report design. You want to make a good impression. So in walks the idea of a layout. So this is an example layout. So what really is a layout at its core? They are a stylized background image. So this background image here, if I click on the paint roller and go to page background, you'll see there's an image applied here that we've put on the back of this page. So there's an image stuck on the back of the page that has stuff laid out on it already. We also have over here on the left-hand nav, we've been using buttons to add some page navigation, pre-formatted with hovers, coloring, and if I clicked on one of these, you'll see that it actually does a little like brightens up. I don't know if you can see it really good on the screen there, but it highlights and then goes away. So it gives you an indicator when it's clicking. These are all kind of good, common, best UI practices when you're designing these things. Trust me, we spend a lot of time building layouts, days, thinking them through, tweaking all the details, getting everything aligned. If you had to do that for every single project, you're spending a lot more time prepping the documentation piece. So think with me for a second. I've spent 2 weeks doing this amazing data model. It's awesome. We're getting the answers we want. I've got some visuals out. People are being pleased. And then we're out of time. We need to deliver the last part of this. So the last thing you usually cut is spending all the extra time and really making the report pop. So usually the end of the report, the part that's probably I would say very important, right? It's good to have a solid data model. It's good to have right data. I don't want to report sales that are totally incorrect. But at the end of the day, if I have an engaging report that is compelling to look at, I now can engage my audience. They're actually ready to look at the report. And if you're in the market and you're upsetting or removing other tools that you were replacing, it's also helpful to have a good, shiny report so people like looking at it and say, this is amazing, and love it. So we're going to go a bit further here. We have buttons. We make a custom set of icons that we use as well. We put custom icons in our layouts as well to kind of, again, make it really clear, and buttons and things to make it very interactive. So we're going to do a quick demo of this. I'm going to grab the existing data I have here in this current chart. So this is my current report. I'm going to open up my selection panel here, and I'm going to click all the elements in the page. Click, click, click. We're going to copy these, and hopefully the copy works. Boom. So I'm going to take all my items, I'm going to bring them to my new page. Now I've just got to reorient them, right? So the page is already pre-set up. The layout's ready to go, so I'm going to adjust some of these cards, flip them around up here. The red lines are automatically popping up. So let's adjust this so it matches the top of that, matches the bottom of this. I'm going to grab both of them and bring them down just a hair. Let's rearrange these other charts, get him out of the way. Move this over here. Now I'm going to give you another tip and trick here that we use, and this will be immensely helpful for you at some point. You will be doing a lot of these as you make more reports. A trick I like to use a lot here is, so one is the red lines, right? So you see how everything's kind of snapping in place here for me? That's awesome. That's a setting you turn on in the File Options. File, Options and Settings and Options, and it's buried in a menu item in there. Make sure you turn those on. But another trick here is I'm going to move this out to about maybe the mid part of the page. Let's call it right about there maybe. If you take a visual and snap it right next to it, so sometimes you want like a little thin border, right? So one of the Gestalt principles is proper spacing. So if you hold the Shift key on your keyboard and use your arrows, you can nudge the visual. If you nudge, it nudges 10 pixels at a time with the Shift bar. If you just click the arrow keys, it nudges 1 pixel at a time. Yeah, you can tell we're very picky and particular about getting things lined up. So I'm going to take this one visual, I'm going to notch it over twice. 1, 2. I know that's 20 pixels over. I've already got my spacing there proper. I'm going to then bring this out to the other side edge, and that looks like about the right width that I want. Okay? I'm going to bring this other visual, I'm going to bring him up and snap him to the top upper corner. So now I've got him aligned on the right-hand side. I'm going to snap this one, grab it, Shift, down, down. That's my spacing down now. So I've got a nice clean space there. Let's do another one. Let's go over here. Now this one I'm going to put against this edge and against the bottom edge of that original one. Snap 1, 2, 1, 2. So now I've got the spacing of that one correct, and then I'll grab the outer edges and then I'll align those. Align, and then we'll align the bottom edge of this one. So with a couple clicks, so if you did this manually, you'd have to do a bunch of clicking around. Now, there's another way of doing this, too, that we've used. If you click on a visual and go to the paint roller, you can also adjust this under the general settings. There is an X, Y, width, and height as well, so you have that option if you want. I feel like this way's faster, and it's less clicks. So another little tip and trick there. And boom, there we go. So I went from a report that was just kind of okay, it got the job done, but now we're in a report where we have multiple pages, we have navigation elements already built in, and I'm able to then click on each of these things. If I want to navigate to new pages, it's already kind of built up and ready to go for me. So that's really the essence behind the layout. It's to speed up your report development. It's to give you best practices. We have a number of layouts that we've made previously. I'm going to point out one here. I'm going to ask a very, has anybody seen this visual anywhere? Anywhere at all? Documentation, maybe? So Microsoft has done a number of documentation articles around reports, and this just happens to be one of the reports that they've picked. So this is our sunset layout. I'm very pleased that Microsoft picked it, because it's pretty cool. I think it looks great. But if you look through the documentation, you'll see this report. This is the one that we produce as one of our layouts. More recently, though, in the announcements that Amanda Kofsky does for the Power BI desktop, is this one. So here's a bit of a more full-fledged report, right? So why do I want to look at these layouts? Again, we do a lot of setup. We do a lot of extra things here that we're adding technique around. On the left-hand side, we've got 10 pages of navigation. We made all the buttons and wired everything up. And in most of our layouts, we have like block areas. Here's an example. You may want to put a big visual here and a little visual there. Applying rules of thirds and other design principles, we're already embedding these into the reports. Again, giving you some guidance and some insight to help you build a compelling looking report. All these things are editable, and you can do whatever you want. And then everything interacts like a normal report. We have flyout menus in some of them. The menu flies out. This one actually has a drop shadow behind it that you can actually see on the left-hand side here. So the design of this came from Microsoft. The gentleman who did it was Miguel Myers. He's incredible. He's like a savant of like visualization things. So good, and really well thinks things through. So we took the first page that he produced, and we built out the other 9 pages in this report. And you can go ahead and download this at powerbi.tips/layouts. So we have a number of just free reports just like this one. You can go get them, you can download them, and play with them all for free.
So that's one of the amazing things that, for those of you who haven't used bookmarks before, or buttons, this is where the interface of what Mike is showing is just using those elements to really almost create web-like experiences in some of our reports. Now, you don't need to overcomplicate things, but it definitely gives you a lot of flexibility in producing like information pages that overlay a report where you can provide more detail of where you can provide the calculations of where else would that go on your initial report page. So in those terms, those are really fantastic features. The other thing to note here is we put together some pretty complex layouts and visualizations, and we use Illustrator for the back-end imaging and things like that, but you can also use PowerPoint. So in many respects, those layers and shapes that you can build in PowerPoint, you can save as a PNG, and then also upload that as a background for your Power BI reports as well.
And also, if you want to see how things are created and built, you're more than welcome to go ahead and pull apart our layouts. And this is why we do it, right? We show you how, we give you these finalized products. You can go in and click the elements, see how they're made, see what the bookmarks are doing, how's the bookmark configured. There's a lot of other elements in here that, again, this is a great example demo area for you to kind of take a look at things. Yeah? Nope, so we're licensing all, if the ones you buy on there, there's actually a couple you can pay for. We do all the free ones with our logo on them. And I can't tell you how many people have like, we love these are so fast, it helps me go quicker. I don't want to have a logo. Okay, fine, you can buy one. So we license it to you, it's free for you to use as long as you want. You can make as many reports on top of that as you need. Yeah, another question back there? Yeah. Sure. Yep. So in that exact example, so the question was, I have a layout in a template guide in PowerPoint. We do a lot of our presentations and giving data to our clients in PowerPoint already. We want to redigest that into something like a layout, right? Something that's more canned. So the techniques and styles, you can go look at our stuff and use them as examples. You can't directly import a PowerPoint background or layout into this. However, we work with, well, we do it ourselves, but you can work with a design team and say, hey, I want something that looks like these layouts, and I need areas of the chart where these are where the charts I want to go. If I'm going to build navigation elements, these are what these will look like. And so you really work on building the one file, and you save it as a PBIT file, and then that becomes the file you share with your team to then, okay, when you start building reports, start on top of this file, and then they would bring in the data model, they would shape the data, and then they would build the reports on top of it, and it would be all consistent then. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so you'll notice now on the paid ones, there is no visuals in the layout at all. It's purely just like titles and text and stuff like that, so it's very generic. The examples I'm showing you here actually have data in them as a sample. The template files that we produce in the layouts thing, there is no data in those. So, it's purely empty.
So were you asking, you already had that set up in PowerPoint?
So we have design guides that says our logo is in the lower right-hand corner.
Yep.
I'm interested maybe from a static part of my PIS file so that essentially everybody has a
Yep.
template to work from.
Those would all be images in the background.
Images in the background.
Yep.
The only way that I figured out how to do it was to use like a snippet tool,
Yep.
put it in, and then actually do a transparent overlay over it.
So they couldn't click it.
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to use an image. There's actually a property on the page itself, and the property on the page is what you want to put the image on. So what you did in yours was, real quick, you were going over here, you were adding the button called image, and you were making the image big, and then you're putting transparency over top of it. Instead, click anywhere in the white space, click on the paint roller. You should see a thing called page background, and there will be a section called load image in the middle of that. That's where you want to put the background images.
There's
it's
a
not
challenge, though,
clickable then.
if he wants to add multiple. But yeah, go on, move on.
All right, we've got one more really cool demo. Let me get to this one, and then we'll take questions at the end. So moving forward, we've talked about customizing pages. We've talked about good layout. We've talked about how do you nudge things over and get the right proper spacing on things. I'm going to go off the reservation here a bit, and we're going to go like deep into the weeds. How many people have built custom visuals? 2. How many people like writing JavaScript or Java? Anybody know D3.js? Yeah, we don't really care about all that stuff. So I'm going to show you an easier way of doing all of that. So there's another tool out. So another one called, it's technically a project from Microsoft's research team. It was originally called Charticulator. I took a copy of the open source code and brought it over to my website. And it's now rebranded. I rebranded it as charts.powerbi.tips. So what this is, there's other tools in the Gartner upper quadrant that are really good at doing highly stylized custom visuals, but building only one visual. Any data property can be applied to any visual property on an element. So this tool really meets a lot of that need and gives you really wild flexibility of writing a custom visual without writing a lick of code. So let me show you a demo. We're going to go through this one right now. I'm going to go over to our website, charts.powerbi.tips. This is the tool. There's a lot of elements going on inside the tool here. I'm going to just start building the report. There's a report canvas. We have a glyph, and a glyph is like, think of like the bar that you would be putting on a bar chart. That's the glyph. So the reason why I'm going to look at this tool, right? So why is this even an option for me? There are certain things you can do with Power BI. There's a couple things you can't do. So like if you want to change the transparency of a bar or do other interesting things about color gradients across elements of a chart, you don't have that flexibility in the current visuals today. The current visuals need that capability in order for them to do this. The Microsoft research team decided we're going to make this thing fully flexible. You can add almost any property anywhere you want in the visual. So let's bring in some data, and I'll show you kind of how this works. I'm going to start by loading some data over here on the left. I'll replace this data set. I'm going to bring in a data file. If I click the ellipsis here on the left-hand side, I'm able to look at what is the data presented in this list. Here's a bunch of data. I have regions, states, and some numbers for incidents found around drugs, incidents found around traffic incidents or traffic accidents. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start building some structural things on the page, and we're going to start cruising here. So these are guides on the page. The guides basically snap images to a specific area. This middle guide will always stay in the middle of the page. So if I adjust it, these guides grow and shrink with the page size. We're going to start here. We're going to add a mark to the canvas. One mark here, one mark at the bottom. Now I'm using these to define some generic areas or vicinities of the chart that I don't want to adjust. These are going to be like predefined locations, essentially. I can also adjust the properties manually. So this bar here, I can adjust the width. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, I can change the width of this. So we're going to make that a width of 40. Let's go 50. That's a little bit narrow. Let's go 50 there. Let's go to this one. We'll do a width of 50 as well. Now I'm going to adjust these two bars on the top and bottom. The height of this one will now be 60. Make that a bit taller, and the same thing at the bottom. Again, the reason we do this and we lock those things in there, those little green dots mean they're locked. So if I adjust this, you can see as the visual rescales, those items all stay together. Okay, now we have these things called plot segments. We have a 2D plot segment and a 1D. I can do 2 dimensions on something, or I can do one straight line. We're going to get rid of this 2D plot segment. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to add a one-dimensional plot segment, and I'm going to go from the bottom, which starts at the number 0 and goes up to whatever value I want. This is a one-dimensional plot segment. I'm going to add some of the drug data to this line, this axis, and now it draws me out a scale. So basically, it looks at my data set and says, what's the appropriate scale from the min to the max of what I want to put on that line? I can adjust the minimum. I'm going to drop it at 0, so I'm going to change this range down here at the bottom. Range down to 0. We'll change that. I want to flip the axis here. We're going to flip this to the opposite side. Now I can add visual elements to that line. I'm going to now add a mark in the glyph area. I can readjust this glyph so it has a little bar. And then I'm going to adjust the properties of the glyph to be a height of 7. So now I've made a little mark, essentially, right? So every time I see a data point, I'm going to drop a little bar on the line. We can change the color of that thing. So let's change it to a color of blue. Now, this is not hard to do in Power BI. I can put numbers on a line, and I can put items on the bar. Like this is not rocket science. But here's where things get interesting. Because this shape has additional properties, we have a width, a height, a shape, a fill, the stroke of the text. We have the opacity of the text. So what I can do is I can actually drag other elements or change things about this. So I can actually change the opacity. I can drive this by data, or I can just type in a number. So if I had other fields here that I wanted to drag over here, I can actually add any number of additional data fields to any of the properties on this one item. Again, to be clear, this is highly customizable. That's why this is so amazing to me. All right, so now we've changed the transparency. One thing I'll quickly point out here is why we change transparencies on things. If you have a scatter plot, right, and you're looking at a bunch of dots on a screen, if they're all the same color, when they overlap, I don't really know what's going on during the overlap. But if you change the opacity on things to something that has 50%, I now get to see like a stacking effect. The color gets darker, it's deeper, it's richer in that area where they're all overlapping. So visually, while I don't know exactly what these numbers are, I can see there's a density here. There's a density happening here. And that's what that transparency kind of accentuates for you when you're doing visual design. All right, let's keep going. This is our first part of our chart. Let's add some content to the middle of the chart. I'm going to add a new glyph. This is the little marks. So a glyph is that mark we're going to put on a chart. I'm going to add another line chart here. We're going to go from the top to the bottom. When you're making line segments or line plot segments, the direction does matter. So if you're doing like a number line, it'll always start from where you start the click will be the lowest number, and where you go to the end of the click will be the highest number. In this case, I'm going to add a text field to it. So I'm going to add the state over to this axis. And now we can see all the different states of the United States on that line. I'm going to change the position to opposite. And because we really don't need to see this in the final visual, I'm actually going to turn it off. Next, we're going to add another glyph here, and I'm going to add a glyph here to the other side of this chart. It's by default all gray. I'm going to adjust that again, make it a height of 7. Now I'm going to add a height to this bar. So this time I'm not going to adjust the transparency. I'm actually going to vary the depth of it for each individual mark. So this time I'm going to grab the drugs and I'm going to add it to the width of the little glyph item. Boom. Now I've got bars drawn. Let's keep going here. Let's go back to the shape. We're going to change the color again back to blue. We'll go with darker blue this time. There we go. All right, so now we've made some data. Now let's add some text to this line so we know what the text is going on. It's going to be happening in the middle here. So I'm going to add another line here in the middle. We're going to add another glyph. I'm going to add another line plot, and I'm going from the top to the bottom again. This time I'm going to add a text box to it. And I'm going to adjust the text location. So this will let me see that I have a text box centered on that little green dot. Next, I'm going to grab the item called state and add it to my text box, and now all my states appear. Now, you can see they're out of order. When we put on the other axis, it was ordered in a certain direction. This one is now misaligned. So now I also need to grab the state and drag it to the line in the middle here. So the data axis is the same as the name of the text that's on the axis. So basically, now I have two plot segments that have perfectly aligned. We have the top left being Alabama, and the middle one also being Alabama. It's a bit jumbled, so let's turn the axis off. So we're going to click on the plot segment. We're going to turn the axis off. And the text size is a bit too large, so we're going to shrink it a little bit here, so we're a bit smaller. And you can also rename items. So to make sure that I know what's going on in the chart here, this is the left side. This one here in the middle is the middle. And this third plot segment that we did was the text. Okay? So now we've got 3 elements here. Now comes the magic. Woo! This is stuff we can't do anywhere else. So this is the cool part. This is why I'm like so thrilled about this kind of a tooling. So we're going to go up here. We're going to click this links button. I'm going to click the left and the middle, and I'm going to make a band to match those two together. And when I click go, boom, everything links up together. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change this to a setting to Bezier, and we're going to change it to 160. Okay, looks kind of like a mess. Let's clean up a couple things. The gray bars I'm going to remove from the page. Go up here to the top, turn off, turn off, turn off, turn off. And now I've got a nice ordered list from Alabama down to the bottom. So now let me explain to you what's happening here, right? We have bars in the middle, so I can see relative size between the states. I know exactly which state I'm at and which one in the list has got the most whatever, incidents in drugs or incidents in traffics. The line is wiggling over to the other bar, and now I have an ordered list that links back to the original item. So now I can see distributions of the height of the bars. So this is in statistics where this would be looking at like your mean, your mode, your median, statistically in like a line chart. Make sense? Like a number line. Cool? Yeah? All right, so I'm going to show you the final version. We're running out of time here. So I usually can build out the other half. We will repeat the steps for the other side, but I'll show you how we get it out of this, right? So this is all independent of Power BI. We haven't touched the desktop program at all. But this is the best part. I'm not going to use the visual here. I need to bind it with my data. So we're going to be able to export it. So if I click the export button, I can select Power BI Visual, and then I can adjust the properties of this. Now, I will give you a caveat. Axes and scales. This is sometimes a gotcha. So when you set scales on things inside the chart tool, I can say the minimum is 0 and the maximum is 60. We set that property for that axis. Sometimes you want it to auto-scale with your data. Sometimes you don't. So sometimes you may need to adjust what the chart is doing, and you turn these on and off to then auto-scale the axis or not. So for example, in my real data set, maybe I go from 10 to 20. That's all the numbers I have. If I turn off auto-scale, the scale will always stay from 0 to 60, no matter what data I provide to it. Just want to make you clear about that, because you'll do it, and you'll be like, that's so weird, it didn't work the way I thought. That's what's happening. We'll go to the very bottom. I'll click Export to Power BI Custom Visual. Okay, I was just talking with another MVP, Microsoft MVP. She said she wrote some Power BI R visuals. She wrote 1,000 lines of code and made a visual. We clicked, I don't know, what, 30, 40, 50 times in a couple minutes. We just made our own custom visual with a lot of custom properties. So let's go put this back into the desktop. We're gonna go
while Mike's
back
doing
over
that real
here.
quick, that's a really important point to understand. Like, right, new tool, this is all free, you can do it. This is just creating a custom visual, but the amount of time it would take for you to generate, somebody who knows what she's doing, took her 2 weeks?
2 weeks of time to
Of
write 1,000
developing
lines of code.
for one visual. You can see that if you invested time in this tool to understand how to build these things out, that the value that you're going to get from here in building your own custom visuals is just immense. So it's a little bit much, we know, but we just wanted to make sure you understood what this does.
So the next step here is I've already imported the visual. It's in the file right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bind data to it. Now I'm going to explain some of the data binding pieces here because this is important. So if we think about granularity, for people who are databasey, we have like a key. This row has a key value of, this is row 1, row 2, row 3. In the tool, it auto-aggregates everything. It's basically doing sums and averages in the charts.powerbi tips tool, in the charts tool, right? What we need to do here is we need to define what is the granularity, how detailed do I need the data to look? So if I quickly zoom over here to this table, you can see this is my data. I have the state, I have a region, and I know I have traffics and drugs here at this level. So the most granular piece of data I have for my data set is the state. That defines, for me, a unique record. And when I'm graphing things, I want every single state to show up in the middle. Now, if I have data, like multiple data points per state, I can have that. But it will auto-aggregate them as a sum or whatever you define in the charts program. So just, again, I want to explain what that granularity thing was because it took me a while to figure out, like, what are they doing? Why is it there? OK. Back to the pretty visual. Assuming we did everything just right here, I'm going to grab the granularity, drop it here at the state. I'm going to grab the state and put it here. I'm going to grab the drug data, put it there, and the traffic data and put it here. And ta-da! We now have a pretty chart directly in Power BI built in a custom tool without writing a line of code, and it all works like normal. So I can do sort by the drug information. Boom. It reorders the chart, and now I've got the drug. So I can see observations already. Look at that. West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, they've got some pretty high distributions. In that area, they're having some trouble there. You have traffic incidents. And now I can look at the distribution of the numbers, right? The scales are identical, so I can see the density of where that population hits there on the bottom end. I can also then use this to interact across other visuals. So I can select west or south or northeast. And then for each region, I can evaluate certain aspects of my data as well. So this is just kind of to open up your mind and show you like there's just some amazing visuals here. This visualization, I can't take credit for building it myself. I didn't come up with it. There's a gentleman on Twitter. If you have Twitter and if you're taking pictures of this, take a picture and tag "Thank you, Nick Snap." His name is nsnap on Twitter. And give him a big old shout out and a thank you for this visual. I used his material to help develop it and build it. He's a genius when it comes to all this visual stuff. And I'm thrilled with it. So anyways, it's really cool. It works inside the desktop. And I figured I would share that with you as well, if you really want to go over the top with visualizations. And I think with that, we're like right on time. Thank you guys very much. We'll be around for some questions if you want to talk more later.
Thank you very much.